I'm Alex Howard.
And I'm Amanda Silver. And this is Dirty Laundry.
Welcome back.
Solo episode. We call it solo, even though it's just the two of us. Like, we're one person.
Like Han Solo?
No,
we are one. We have one brain amongst the two of us.
We write in our notes like solo episode, but it's you and me.
We have no guests.
No guests.
Which I'm obsessed with all of our guests always, but I love when it's just you and I shooting the shit, talking divorce.
Yeah. Divorce is just
like
what we do best.
Yeah, exactly.
What we talk best.
One thing that you and I often discuss is how intertwined emotions become in the process. And like, I don't know about you, but ask me how many times a day I have to tell my clients, I'm not your therapist. Mm-hmm. This can be very therapeutic, but I'm not a therapist, because we see the emotions really get in the way of things.
They get in the way of things. They also can sabotage the whole process.
Yeah.
Because when people are in this like high, intense emotional state, they make poor decisions.
That's the thing. It's not even the other person sabotaging. It's actually self-sabotage.
Self-sabotaging. You're letting your emotions about all of your years of trauma and whatever is led up to this moment of divorce guide the rest of it. And it's so, how do you tell someone, oh, I'm sorry, let's separate your emotions from the issues?
Yeah.
Like, you can say that, but you can't, it's hard to do.
Well, that's the thing. We do say that.
We say it
still
because we're the professionals, so it's easier for us to separate their emotions from their issues because they're not ours.
Exactly.
But to say, well, I know you're feeling so angry because she cheated or whatever.
Yeah.
But we have to actually talk about the parenting schedule.
We have to make a rational choice here right now.
Yeah. So it's kind of.
What do you see the most in your practice?
I think that anger and guilt are expensive.
Ooh, guilt.
Yeah. I think I see different things. So I see in terms of, let's talk about the guilt first.
Okay.
I think that when one person, or I've seen it where if one person is responsible for the end of the marriage.
Like if there is a fault in our no fault system.
Yeah. So like, for example, one person had an affair and then decided to leave.
Sure.
I've seen it where there's like a guilt associated with that if they're not narcissists.
Yeah.
And they have remorse.
Or have some kind of personality.
Or have some kind of personality disorder. Yeah. And they actually feel things.
Not a psychopath.
Right. So those people aside, they sometimes make concessions.
Yeah.
Because they feel like they broke up the family. They are forcing this split of the home. And so they make concessions where they maybe shouldn't. And we can't give them legal advice.
No.
But I might say, hey, go talk to your lawyer.
I will definitely stop them and say, no.
If it's outrageous.
Yeah.
Like they're waiving spousal support when they're supposed to be getting indefinite spousal support. I'm like, stop for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're going to want to think this through. Yeah. Like, at the end of the day, you make your own decision. But like,
and I think at the end of the day, we really have to advocate for the family as a whole.
Right.
And so I always say, I'm gonna push back from the perspective of your kids. Yeah, obviously, if there are. So you waiving spousal support in this anecdote is actually not in their best interest, because it's now setting them up for some kind of financial insecurity down the line. And you're not going to be your most solid foundation, confident, independently financial kind of human. So that's not in their best interest. So let's wind that back. Ditch the guilt. Come to a proper resolution.
And that's where I think, and we'll talk about the anger in a second, but that's where I think time comes in. Because they say a year for separation, but maybe it should be longer. And I've said this before, because it can take them so many months to like get over that or get through it, or like at least be able to compartmentalize it. It's to make those decisions quickly.
It's interesting you say longer than a year, because realistically, people are going through, like, things often do take longer than a year to finalize.
Fair,
just because of our slow system and people's busy lives, et cetera, et cetera.
Evaluations and lawyers and
exactly.
appraisals and all kinds of things.
But I think what I see is the emotions guiding a quick attempt at resolution or forcing folks to make decisions
in haste
that are actually not drawn out. But if it was more drawn out, does that compromise safety? Does that, compromise other things within those contexts that actually dragging it out could create more ongoing conflict, trauma, instability for the kids, you name it. So I don't know. It's almost like there needs to be some kind of like forced interim where you don't have to live together.
And don't make any decisions.
And you can't make any decisions.
You can't. You're not allowed.
You
for
just
like
need
6
to regroup.
Months. You just need to process.
Yeah.
But how the hell do you do
That's so unrealistic.
Like you're going to live together for the next 6 months and you're not allowed to make any decisions. Like, no, it doesn't work that way.
It does not.
It doesn't. So,
So in lieu of that, get a therapist while you're going through separation. I don't know. Have somebody who you can talk to about your feelings, and maybe a plug for mediation again. Go through mediation because we actually do advocate for the whole family. Your lawyer is going to advocate for you as they should. That's their job. Maybe mediation is actually the intermediary solution that folks need because they can work through some of this stuff.
Right.
With a trained professional at their own pace, someone who will guide them to make the best decisions for their family without getting super litigious off the bat.
And exactly.
While emotions are running so high. That's not the time to lay the gauntlet down and make these hasty decisions. But most folks rush to it because they want it to be over. It's like, put me out of my misery. Let's just agree to whatever so I can end this feeling.
Don't agree to whatever.
And the feeling doesn't go away is
You're still going to feel like that. And then the last thing
you have a shitty agreement.
What if you're like 5 years at the line and you agree to some shitty parenting arrangement or some shitty financial arrangement and you're like, oh, wow, I really didn't think this through.
Yeah.
And you're screwed because you've signed this. It's the legal document and there's not much you can do. So like.
It's funny that you say guilt from the person who had like done the thing. Oddly, in my practice, I would say when I see guilt emerge, it's from the person who still wants to leave, but there was no real reason for leaving. There was no inciting incident. It's just this whole like, oh, irreconcilable differences. We've grown apart.
We're roommates.
But there's still one person. And so they still made that choice for the other. And the guilt is coming from this place of going, on paper, our life looked actually pretty legit, but I'm just unhappy.
Do you think it's like the what ifs? Like, am I making the right choice? Type of, is it like a
guilt?
No,
I would say the
guilt
opposite.
Towards the other person?
Yes.
Or
it's
like
the guilt towards the other person from leaving a marriage that on paper looked okay.
That wasn't horrible.
It wasn't that marriage where your friends were like, you got to get the fuck out of this marriage. I can't believe they did that to you.
Yeah.
Exactly. They're the bad guy. You get the F out. No, it's this one where it's like, actually, we're kind of okay.
I know.
But I'm lonely in my marriage, or I'm sick of being a caretaker to my partner, or. But it's these ones that are like, there's actually nothing really wrong.
Right.
You're just unhappy.
There's no
That's when I see more guilt.
Yeah.
Because I feel like often the sort of audacious person who did something is kind of like, I'm good.
Yeah. You're right. The person who like maybe had the long-standing affair probably doesn't feel as guilty.
I don't know.
They did that.
How do you keep it going for so long without any kind of guilt? The guilt only shows up in divorce? I have a hard time with that.
Fair. Okay.
Yeah. But let's talk anger because that is prevalent.
I see, yes. Anger definitely is expensive. It is expensive because with anger comes like escalation of things. So you have so it's no like when people are getting along and there's like some mutual respect and yes, there's a lot of hurt, they can go through the mediation process and keep things, but anger can really derail the negotiations. And then just because they feel like they want to prove that they were right and they're wrong. Because in mediation, there's no winner or loser.
Yeah.
It's just
quite frankly, in divorce, there's no real winner or loser. It's just you get to kind of walk away from an unhappy situation.
Right.
Technically, you're both winners.
But if you go to court, some people can think that they're
fair. Absolutely.
Sometimes there's a winner and a loser. Sometimes.
Well, actually, I think this is a very good opportunity to pause because I think everybody thinks that there will be a winner and a loser.
Yes.
And that's what they're fighting for. But I think that's the biggest myth. No, there never is one. I don't think there ever is going to be a winner or a loser. You can look at it, fine, financially. Okay, you got more settlement.
Right, one person get more money, one person get more parenting time, one person could get decision making, one person could not. There are certain things.
But still, that doesn't make a winner and a loser. There's no clear, delineated line of, oh, I win, you lose, haha, off I go, you go lick your wounds.
Right.
It's like everybody loses when they think there's a winning and a losing. But if everyone kind of walks into divorce going, well, this is going to suck, and I'm going to have a lot of feelings about it.
Yeah.
But we're both going to come out of this with some kind of new life. It's just not going to be so black and white, winning and losing.
As you're saying that, I'm thinking about all the other types of reasons why people go to court. And I think in other areas, there's winners and losers.
Okay, say
criminal,
more.
like,
sure.
you're guilty, you're innocent.
Yes.
Okay?
Employment law. You get a big settlement, you get your job.
Right.
Right.
You know, you stole that patent, you didn't. You know, like you get damages, you don't. Like, you know, like if the insurance company was wrong, you were wrong. Like, I feel like those things, those types of basically every other court.
You're right. Except
there's a
family
right and
law.
a wrong. Except family law.
Interesting.
Because in family law, there is no winner or loser.
Yes.
You still have to co-parent these kids.
Yes.
You're not separating the ownership of these children.
Nope, you can't. Can't cut them in half.
Right. So the judges are going to make it so that like you win a little bit, you lose a little bit. You win a bit, you lose a bit. Or everyone loses.
Everybody loses, I think.
That's what I think.
But if you change your mentality to go, okay, this is not a winning and a losing kind of situation.
That's it. It's not a winning and losing when you go to family court. It's just that everybody losing.
I like it.
There you go.
That's a real hot take.
I think so. Different because people get caught up in the movies and like I'm in my day in court. You might if you're fighting over an insurance claim,
right,
or a real estate deal, or even a murder investigation.
Exactly.
Right, wrong, guilty, not guilty.
Yeah,
not in family court.
Oof. And I like that you say it's expensive. So keep that in mind. Emotions will cost you money.
Every time you email your lawyer because you're upset about something they did, which I see all the time. My client's upset. Let's say they have lawyers involved. It's adversarial. Something happened over the weekend. They didn't come for pickup on time and a drop off, and something happened between the two of them. They forgot their soccer equipment, and then they said they have to pay for whatever the little things are. They go to their lawyer. Can you believe this? We need to have a call about this. $1,000 later, nothing changes.
Yeah.
And then what?
The bill's just still going to forget their soccer clothes.
So pick your battles.
Pick your battles.
Don't go to your lawyer every time you're upset.
But even that terminology, pick your battle. Battle.
In the adversarial divorce world, you are battling. And some people battle over every single thing. Some people are more smart about their battles and they don't. But it can be a battle.
But we do use that phrase.
I say it all the time.
And all those kind of terminologies. And it's like, okay, you're not going to win this battle, but you'll win the war. It's like, whoa, we are really approaching it with the wrong attitude. Mm-hmm. We can have a whole episode on just that.
Well, and the changes that need to happen for sure.
Yeah. We'll just pepper them in throughout. What else do we see that comes up? People making poor decisions based on a lack of emotional regulation, I think really encapsulates this whole episode, right? So we're talking anger, we're talking guilt.
Yeah.
What about the person who wants to like perform and show up as the good divorce person?
Yes.
And I'm gonna just approach this like I do everything else, and I'm gonna
so reasonable.
I'm so good.
Child-centered. Everything's in good faith.
Where does that go wrong?
I see it because when someone is acting,
and
it's pretty obvious, and then their former spouse is like,
who the fuck are you?
What the fuck is that? Like that is not.
Yeah.
And I could see them boiling because that's just not.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, I say to them, I'm like, honestly, I'm not the assessor here. I'm not judge or jury. So like, you don't have to get me on your side.
Yeah.
Like that's not what I'm here to do. It's like you're wasting your time.
Yes.
Trying to make yourself look so good and the other person looks so bad. It's like, let's just get down to it.
Yep. And when you are focused in on a performative or like making yourself look good, you're actually not advocating for what you really need or potentially what your children really need.
You might make concessions that you shouldn't.
Or make demands that you actually don't want because it looks good.
There we go.
Oh, I want to be 50-50. Right? We go on ad nauseum about this, but it's optics.
It's optics for the mediation, but also for the rest of their world.
Their whole parenting agreement is based on how they look in divorce. I got some holes to pick with that theory.
Well, and I mean, with the changes that are coming to the Divorce Act, the presumption of 50-50 will likely be thrown out.
It needs to be.
And it needs to be for so many different reasons.
For all the reasons.
But give people the permission, I think, to not have 50-50 if they can't handle it.
To not want it.
I've seen parents who are, working like 80 hours a week, traveling, and they're good parents.
Yeah.
And they're just providing for the family, but they just can't have 50-50. And it's not because... It's because they have to work and they have to provide and all those things. But they feel like they need to ask for it because if not, then they look like a bad parent.
And they look like they don't care about their children.
Yeah. And then their family members say, get 50-50. You better get 50-50. If you didn't, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, it's like 50-50 is like in the zeitgeist now. Everyone knows, oh, well, you should at minimum get it 50-50.
Yeah, exactly. Well, no.
And I hear so often, I just don't want to be a weekend parent. I'm like, okay, but what does that mean to you? Why are we so concerned with how we label your parenting role versus the actual like metrics of how you are parenting? Full stop.
Yeah.
Right? I think at a certain point, yes, when they're infants, okay, kids need a lot of time with their parents.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to go into genders around that. But as they age, I truly believe it's really more about quality over quantity.
Yes.
If you're distracted, you have the kids 50% of the time, but you're working, you're on your cell phone, you're, ignoring them, you're stuck in meetings, you're hiring babysitters.
Is that being with the kids?
That's not in their best interest.
If they could be with maybe the other parent who could be more present,
exactly.
Is that not better for them?
Right? Our society, I don't think, is meant to be set up in such a way where you have two working parents and then they need to be exactly 50% of the time available to their children. And quite frankly, we don't see that in marriage. Why are we trying to have that in divorce? Now you're alone and you think you're going to do a better job on your own?
Right.
With more time and less resources?
It's absolutely setting people up for failure.
Yeah. And I think it's all optics.
Name me one marriage, one relationship where the parenting roles are exactly the same.
Yeah.
Or exactly 50-50. It's not possible.
No.
Just not.
And not over the course of 18 years. Like if you look at the lifespan of your child, their needs change.
They're going to need more hands-on when they're little.
I had to really give a talking to one of my clients because he was...
I love a talking to.
He was very concerned that he was being left out. And listen, I respect that. You're feeling left out as a parent. That's a legitimate feeling.
Yep.
And let's discuss it amongst the parents. Well, he was upset because the kids were going to mom for certain private matters. And she didn't confide in him. And I just think you're actually doing a disservice to your children. Because how dare you? Who has the audacity to believe that they need to know every single factoid about their children if they have a parent that they choose to go to with that specific information?
Right.
Because they might go to the other parent with other specific information that they feel comfortable sharing with that parent.
Right.
But like, how dare you demand that you know every intimate detail about your children as they age? That's not fair.
Unless it concerns your child's safety.
Exactly.
If it was a safety issue where one child goes to the parent and says, I'm being cyberbullied or whatever, or I have a drug problem or something, unless it's about the child's safety, let them have their
That's exactly what I said.
That's exactly it.
I go, is there safety compromise?
Yeah.
She said, no.
Then
we're done with this conversation.
A girl wants to talk to her mom about her period or about going on the pill or whatever it is. Like, let her.
Let her.
Let her have that independence and that agency.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really important to know that like we see through that. Like I can tell when someone is putting on a show. I can tell when like the reality of whether it's their job or their lifestyle or their circumstances actually don't reflect a 50-50 parenting, but they're fighting for it because of whatever reason. And again, it, in my opinion, usually comes to ego. So I think I want to like give folks the permission. You don't have to do that. You can be whatever kind of parent you want, as long as it works for your family dynamic.
Something like saying, like, let's not even talk about the numbers. Let's talk about Monday to Friday.
Exactly.
And then Saturday and Sunday. Like, let's just actually talk about the week. Because I've had that where we actually plan out the week. And then one parent's like, oh, no, I can't do that day. I can't do that day. I can't do that day. I'm like, okay, so actually in reality, this is a primary, secondary parenting situation. And but I also put in review periods because things change.
Yeah.
I really think people get themselves into trouble when they lock in something for 10 years down the line.
Oh, never. That's a bad choice.
I've seen it.
With kids?
Yeah.
You can't. Like what?
Like what if you lock in a parenting schedule?
No.
But
it says annual review.
Not parenting schedules.
Oh, I review every year.
You can't, if you are so high conflict that you are in and out of court, that you have high priced lawyers, there's a lot of litigation. You can't afford to review a parenting schedule every single year if you're getting voice of the child or you're getting assessments. Like just think about what goes into that. A year is like that.
Yeah.
So you need to have some structure and some fixed period of time before there's another review. But there should be a review at some point where the kids, I put it in almost all of my agreements. It's like when the kids get to a certain age, we will we'll review this and consider their preferences. And if necessary, bring in a voice of the child report or something because the children have preferences.
And let's really elaborate on that. they have preferences, but they really don't have a voice currently. And they're often used as pawns, and they are weaponized by the emotions aforementioned.
Yep.
So how, again, in your practice, how are you seeing the kids be used as pawns?
Well, this is the thing. I think that the parent that tries to silence the kids is a problem. Right? I think I see the parents who are saying, you know what, this is our agreement for now, our schedule for now. But we both acknowledge that in 5 years' time, our kids are going to be 12 and 14 or whatever. And it's not really up to us at that point. Like, yes, we both want them, of course. But we want to bring them into the conversation. So I just
give
feel
them some autonomy.
Yeah, but then there's the other kinds of parents who are, it's totally about power and control.
Yes.
And they don't want their children to speak because they don't want them to have a choice.
Yeah.
And that's a problem. And then kids are left to what? For one parent to fight for the other child and then get where?
Yeah.
It's hard.
And we see them used as pawns, and we also see them used as pillars. Should I keep my alliteration going on? Well, just in terms of thinking about the emotional parent through divorce and how they may inadvertently, again, most generous interpretation, inadvertently lean on their kids, especially those that are in the older
Don't do
demographic.
it. Don't do it. Even if your children are adults.
Yeah.
Don't let them have their own lives. Don't weigh on them. Don't burden them with your divorce, worries.
Well, here's the tricky bit. Kids use their parents to emotionally regulate their nervous system. Like, this is scientific. There's data. If you're out of whack, but you're leaning on your child, you're actually now depriving them of their emotional regulation that they need to then get up and go to school and perform in all of their
deal with all
high
their
athletics that they all do and all these competitive dance kids and whatever. Like, we put a lot of stress on our kids already.
Yeah, just making it through the school day with the social component of a school day.
Right.
Forget about the academics.
And then they come home and now all of a sudden you're bitching about the other parent or you're crying and they're inconsolable and now this child.
Fair.
Yeah.
It's
so
not fair to do that to your kids. It's just not. And it's not child focused.
It is definitely not
And you know what?
child-centered.
Sometimes, parents will say to me, well, I don't want to lie to my kids. I'm like, sometimes you have to.
Come on, we lie about Santa.
Exactly.
For 10 years, we lie to
the
them.
Tooth Fairy and everything else.
But you can't cover up one parent stepping out of the family.
I always talk about that movie, Life is Beautiful. It's about World War II. And he always pretended in front of his child that everything was fine because he wanted to give his kid hope. And
well, hope and give them a fucking childhood.
A childhood. Why rob them?
Why are we depriving them
of their childhood? Because you are
you
having
made a choice.
Well, yeah.
You made this choice. They did not.
They didn't choose for their parents to split up.
No. And I'm a big fan of divorce. I think there are times and places. I'm not suggesting anyone stays in an unhappy marriage.
No.
I'm suggesting you get a therapist.
Well, and they didn't sign up for parents to be miserable either. So if you're married and you're not getting divorced, but you're absolutely miserable and horrible to each other.
Yes.
That's not fair to your kids.
That's also depriving them of a happy childhood.
They didn't sign up for that either.
Yeah.
So they signed up for stability and reassurance and
And it is that stability and that predictability. So we're talking again about emotional decision making early on. I think the best thing you can do is figure out some kind of way of talking to your kids age appropriately and some way of coming up with an interim schedule of sorts whereby they can relax into a new normal even for a little bit. Everyone's always like, oh, kids are so resilient. Yes, which means if for 6 months you have an interim plan that was different than their first 10 years and maybe different than their next 10, they're going to manage that. But if every single day they come home from school and it's like chaos abound, that's the stuff that is going to really eat away at them and create long-term issues. So don't lean on your kids. Don't use them as pawns for starters. Figure out some way to emotionally regulate on your own because the dysregulation is going to lead to poor decision making
for everybody,
for everyone involved.
Yeah, for everybody involved, and then they'll resent that. They'll you want your children to look back at your period of divorce as not that unpleasant.
Yeah,
right? Because they're going to remember.
Yeah, I see so many kids that are adults now.
Well, you want your child to divorce.
Right? And it's just oh, I'm just not going to do it that way. So it's it's kind of like, I think with parenting, you either do the way your parents did because it was great, or your parents did you dirty and so you're going to do the opposite.
Yeah.
I think the same shows up in divorce. My parents had this kind of divorce.
Yeah.
I'm going to do the opposite. Or I'm going to just try to make decisions that are not theirs. But again, not in the best interest of today's family.
Right.
And so if you don't deal with that, it's only going to rear its ugly head later on.
So the answer is therapy.
Yeah, always.
Always therapy.
Always therapy.
I really do think you have to go to therapy if you're going through divorce.
I don't know how you can manage without having someone to talk to.
And people saying, "Oh, I have a cousin or I have a sister or I have a," but like it's not the same.
It's not.
Having a mental health specialist.
No, and you and I have talked about this. The family, the friends, they all are biased.
They all are biased. And they should be. Like,
but
it makes
sometimes
sense.
you need someone to go, no, bitch, you're wrong.
Yeah.
Like, let's call you out. Let's pressure test. Let's push back. If my friend's going through a divorce, I'm only going to support. I'm going to love. I'm going to just
I'm going to give them
accept.
Tough love.
There you go.
Because of my profession.
Well, because you're in this field.
I'm like, actually, no. Like, this is not the right way. Or I will give, but that's because of what I do.
Listen, I think honesty is kindness.
Yeah.
But for the average Joe.
For the average person who doesn't have the knowledge of the divorce world, you're not going to.
They're just going to love unconditionally.
You're going to support them because that's what they need. Courtroom thinking versus life after thinking.
Say more.
So many people, when they're going through divorce, think about the courtroom or the mediation room. What they're going, their strategy, what they're going to get, what they're not going to get, what they're going to give up. This one has more time. This one has less time. This one has more money. This one has less money. And they don't think about the after.
Yeah.
So like the couple of years from now.
So you're focused on the divorce itself, not the long-term.
Not the long-term.
Independent lifestyle,
but also the relationship. Because, this family isn't going anywhere. Okay, you're getting divorced, but you still have to go to graduations and, hopefully like weddings and all kinds of things together.
Yeah.
And life will go on once the divorce dust has settled.
Yeah.
And then what the hell is left?
And then when you reflect back on who you were and how you showed up.
People,
Listen, I get it.
Pretty. It ain't pretty for most people.
It's hard to have that long-term lens when you are so riddled with emotion.
Yes.
And I think this is really, in summary of this episode, you can't make informed decisions when you're clouded in emotion. Like, we know that. We know the amygdala brain.
Yeah.
And we know how it goes. All of your frontal lobe shuts down and it's fight or flight.
Yeah.
And that's it.
How the hell are you supposed to make decisions about your financial future, your children's future, your future when you're in that attack mode or
because
defense
that's
mode?
Exactly it. It's meant for that instant. Fight or flight, freeze, fawn, all of the things now.
Yeah.
That's meant for that instant. You need to survive that one, animal about to attack you.
Yeah.
Or that one being caught at gunpoint or that one whatever. Like, that's what our stress response is for.
Yeah.
Not for 10 years of ongoing conflict and battle.
Yeah.
So what do we see? All kinds of disease and, all of the things we don't need to go into.
Yeah, it has an impact for sure.
So if you don't deal with that emotional hijack.
It is an emotional hijacking.
Then you will be hijacked for potentially your child's entire life.
Yeah.
Who the fuck wants that? So maybe pause. Maybe take a minute, talk to someone, figure out like what it is you actually want out of this whole thing and how you want to look in 10 years from now, 5 years from now.
And that's where you should start.
Start
it's really
there.
hard. Start there, and then how do you get there?
Exactly.
Right? Don't start with the battle. Start with the calm if you can.
So let me share as we wrap up with one exercise I make my clients do.
Ooh.
This is a little take-home homework for those that are interested.
Okay. Are we like meditating?
No, it's nothing that woo-woo.
No woo-woo.
Don't worry.
Is the crystals involved in the moon? Is the moon involved?
No essential oils.
Okay, fine.
No moon time.
Okay.
I ask my clients to write themselves a letter in 5 years from now, or like depending on whatever the client, right? 2 years, 5 years, whatever. And so for me, I would write, "Dear Alex, the year is 2031. Your son just graduated high school."
I'm gonna cry.
I know, I'm already getting. So, and then you literally just write what your life looks like. Because inevitably you're going to pick the best life. Like if you're imagining this,
right.
You're going to pick all these beautiful things that you want to share with yourself. And then when you get stuck in anger or guilt or whatever, it's like, no, what was that? What was that 5 years ago life that you were planning on designing for yourself? That's the focus. And then it's just all work back.
Yeah.
You can design the outcome and the life that you want. And I think this is often why people are leaving. Because again, we don't really get the fireworks.
They want that.
They want this life.
But don't ruin your opportunity.
Exactly.
By living in the past.
Yeah. Don't steal tomorrow's happiness for today's anger.
This episode was written and created by Alex Howard and Amanda Silver, produced, edited, and engineered by RTF Productions. Make sure to rate and review our show if you loved it, and give us a follow on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you stream your podcast to stay up to date on all upcoming episodes. Thanks for listening, and go easy on us. We're not your ex.